Hello everyone, my name is Yiran Li from Carnegie Mellon University. Today I will share our paper, Designing for the Invisible, Raising Awareness for the Experience of the Homeless in an LLM-based serious game. This is a joint work with my teammates from the University of Auckland, New York University, and City University of Hong Kong. When we talk about homelessness, the public often thinks of people asking for money on the street or living in tents. But these images can be misleading. They make people believe homelessness is just about personal failure. In reality, many larger problems, like high housing costs, unstable jobs, or poor access to healthcare, they play a critical role. At the same time, existing serious games that try to show homelessness usually have fixed dialogue. They cannot truly represent the voices of homeless people because every conversation feels scripted and limited. So we ask two research questions. How can large language models, or LLMs, be used to represent homeless individuals and their stories? And second, how do players interact with these representations, and does this lead to more empathy? To answer these questions, we interviewed 8 homeless individuals in shelters and on the street. With their permission, we recorded and analyzed their stories. From these interviews, we found 3 main themes. First, many become homeless because of hidden causes, such as family breakdown, domestic violence, or rejection. And second, they struggled with resources, because without phones, IDs, or clear information, they had no easy way to get help. And third, they also faced public indifference. Several told us they felt invisible to society. These themes guided how we designed our game and how the LLM could represent them. We built a walking simulator game inside VRChat. The environments, including shelters, streets, and parks, were recreated from 3D scans and photos, and then refined to protect privacy. The non-player characters, or NPCs, were modeled from the interviews. Their appearances were changed, but their voices and experiences were represented through LLM-powered dialogue. Instead of fixed lines, the LLM allowed players to have open conversations, making the representation feel more human and authentic. We invited 16 players, including shelter staff, to try the game. Each session lasted about 2 hours. We then analyzed how players talk to the NPCs and whether empathy appeared in their words. Our results showed clear signs that LLM-based NPCs help to represent homeless experiences in a meaningful way. First, players often started their own questions instead of waiting for prompts. And second, about 23% of player sentences showed empathy. Many said things like, "I'm sorry to hear that," or "I hope you have a better future." And third, some players connected stories between NPCs, and they use advice from one to help another. And finally, shelter workers who tested the game confirmed that the characters and situations felt very close to real life. But at the same time, we saw limits. The LLM sometimes repeated itself or gave answers that felt too simple, which weakened the representation. So in conclusion, our study shows that LLM-driven NPCs can represent marginalized voices in games in a way that encourages empathy. Because the NPCs were based on real interviews, their stories felt authentic. And because LLM allowed open conversation, players felt more engaged, not just like passive observers. But there are risks. Turning real lives into a game can oversimplify complex problems, and AI can still produce generic or biased replies. That is why ethical care and responsible design are so important when using LLMs to represent vulnerable populations. This approach could also be extended to represent other marginalized communities, such as refugees or people with disabilities, if done with the same ethical care. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your questions.